Hello everybody, it's Bourbon Bill, and tonight, a very special episode. We're diving into one of my most anticipated and biggest scores of the year, guaranteed. Hallelujah! It's Jack Daniel's 12 and Jack Daniel's 10-year batch 2. Finally got my hands on these. So, big shout out to my buddy Brandon for finding these for me. Not in the state of Pennsylvania, because Pennsylvania is still sitting on these. I feel like this state likes to see a good layer of dust on top of them before they release something. Not sure if it helps with packaging or what, but they like to add that little bit of dust. So who knows when we'll see them in PA. But I did do a video on the 12-year, only the 12-year, and I'll link it above, and the 10-year batch 1 behind me. So shout out to my buddy Mark who let me try his 12-year. I owe you a swig out of this one, Mark. But now I got my own, and I thought, son of a bee, we're going to do another dang review because I love Jack Daniels, and this shit here is delicious. Now, the first thing we're going to do is compare 10-year batch 1 and 10-year batch 2, because I don't know that I've seen anyone do that quite yet. So there's a few quick ways to tell a 10-year batch 1 from a 10-year batch 2 bottle. So first off, batch 2 says batch 2 right on the front of the label. Right on the front. Batch 1 says 10-001 right here on the back, and nothing on the front. So there's the first way. The second way for keen-eyed viewers is on the back, 750 mils for batch 1, 700 mils for batch 2. That's right. Jack Daniel's greedy bastards have robbed you of 50 mils of whiskey. I'll try to include it. I don't know if it's going to show up on camera, but how they did it, look at the bottom of the bottles. The 700 mil one here just has a thicker base. They cut away 50 mils in the bottling plant. No secret, I was a huge fan of the 10-year batch 1 when it came out. It came out in like 2021. I don't think 2022 saw any of these released, if I'm remembering correctly. So I think this was a 2021 release. And here you go, 2023 batch number 2. So I did open these the other day to give them a little bit of air, to compare them just for you lucky viewers. As a recap, these are both 97 proof, compute, 48.5% alcohol by volume. So we got to really bring back the old memory for the batch number 1 right here. Some reviewers, I feel like in 2021, were like, why would I pay $70 for this? And now that seems silly, right? I gladly paid the $70 MSRP for that in 2021. It was delicious. I believe these are like $75 now, $70 here, even in 2023 for the 10-year batch 2. Now, you did lose 50 mils, though, so in a way, you got a small price increase. Batch 1. Man, it's just all like a smoky char, and not like a crappy peated Scotch smoky. This is like a hickory smoke off the Barbie. Lot of barrel char. Just deep, dark, and dense. And rich. There's like a burnt banana here. It's like a burnt hickory wood smoke, char, marshmallow, and a burned banana. And like burned sugar caramels. Let's take a sip. Man, I wish I had some backups to that. It's so good. Just what I said on the nose comes through in the palate. It's like a burned banana, char, marshmallow, barrel influence in there. Some little bit of burned banana. A lot of caramel, caramelized sugar. Delicious. A++ rating from Bourbon Bill. That rating has never changed. Absolutely abide MSRP of 70. Now, what you all want to know is, how does that compare to the 10-year batch number 2 just released? So some will complain it's only 97 proof. It's delicious and thick for 97 proof. I really do think that. All right, batch number 2. Let's see if the nose is any different. Oh, it's different. You still get the burned banana, but like the hickory char is dialed back a little bit, replaced with some oak. This is all like oak, tobacco leaf, with just a hint of that like burned hickory and banana, a little bit of char in there. But it's not as like vanilla caramelized sugar. Oh man, that's a toss-up as to which nose I like more. A little bit different, but really enjoy both of them. But man, I think the batch number 2 of the 10-year edges it out. It smells a little bit more mature. Let's take a sip. Oh, sweet heavens. Oh man, it's got way more like oak and tobacco leaf on the palate. There is the char there. Banana's kind of absent. There's a hint of like orange peel as well. I feel like this is older than 10 years. I really do. I usually get the orange peel on like 15-year plus bourbons, and this just has a hint of that. All right. A++ rating, absolutely abide MSRP. How much would I pay for this? The 10-year, I honestly, I'd probably pay like $120 for it. 100 easily if I saw the 10-year batch too, if you're wondering. Everyone's been hyped about the 12, and we'll get to that one in a second, but do not pass up the 10-year batch too. How does that compare to the much-loved 12-year? Coming in at, you guessed it, 12 years old, 2 more years, according to the label, and 107 proof. Now this one happens to say batch 1 here on the front. So hopefully they're going to come out with this again, and I believe there's like a, there's other age statements that they have planned, I believe. But who knows when we'll see them. I could be an old man by then. Coming off the fantastic batch number 2 of the 10-year, here goes the 12, right here. Sweet Jesus, that smells delicious. I can't... Listen, there's a lot of whiskeys that are sometimes hyped up that are just not worth the hype. A few that come to mind are anything Penelope makes, anything Nulu makes. Sometimes the Blood Oaths are kind of overhyped for what they are too, right? Even sometimes the Yellowstone yearly releases are like just hyped, and they're all right. But I'm here to tell you, this exceeds the hype. Not trying to make this more expensive or more difficult to find, but believe me, I'm not lying to you when I say this smells phenomenal. It is a perfect balance of sweet oak, just like a caramelized banana, like a deep dark banana. Oh my god. And just caramels, vanillas, a little bit of char, and just the prevalence of sweet oak. Now, the 10-year batch 2 had an oaky scent to it, and it was oaky, but it was more of like a drier oak, more mature oak, and it wasn't drying, but more of a mature. This is that heavenly sweet oak that only comes from like well-aged bourbons. Let's take a sip. I've died and gone to heaven. Oh my god. Jack Daniels, what are you doing? Just age all of your barrels 12 years. This is fantastic. Mark my words right now. This is in contention for top whiskey of the year, and should in fact take whiskey of the year for some whiskey YouTubers this year and publications, whatever. This will win some awards. 100% guaranteed. This is a top winner of the year. Oh, alright, so it's better than the 10-year batch 2. How much would I pay for this? $150 cash, easily. I would pay for this. Hopefully, you pay MSRP, which is like $80. I think PA sell them for $85 whenever they release them. But it's definitely worth an uptick. Whatever you feel comfortable with paying for really good and, expensive whiskey, feel comfortable paying that for this. That's all I can say. Now, that's not all. How does Jack Daniel's 12 year compare to one of my other favorite whiskey releases of the year that's also roughly the same age? Bum bum bum! Enter the chat, Russell's Reserve 13! Won my whiskey of the year in 2021 and placed second last year, only behind the revered and once and done forever Heaven Hill 17. So, essentially, this got first both years. I actually have no idea which batch this is. I only have 1 and 3. It's one of those. Apparently, the new Russell's 13 batches are 4 and 5, and they're releasing, but who knows when we'll see them around these parts. If you see a new Russell's, you send me one, because definitely looking forward to one. These are always in the top spot for my bourbons of the year. But you know, 1 year older essentially in terms of what's on the bottle. 114.8 proof, compute 57.4% alcohol by volume. Now how does that compare to our 107 proof? A little bit lower proof, 1 year less aged. Now I have heard, which shocks me, 2021 Russell's Reserve 13 was $69.99 MSRP. Last year, $99.99 MSRP. Just saw an article today that the 2023 release of Russell's 13 is $149.99. So, Wild Turkey, you guys are some sons of bitches gouging us now for that kind of pricing. That kind of pisses me off. That is a massive increase. That's a $90 increase over 2 years. Shame on you. But let's pour it up. In the red. Whew. Alright, now. How does our Russell's 13 here compare to the new Jack Daniel's 12 year? Holy mother of God, I forgot how good this smells. Just bouquets of oak and fruit. So dark fruit on the nose. Oh my God, just tons like a red fruit bouquet. The oak's here on the nose, and it is like a sweet oak, but it is not the oak presence of the 12. Let's take a sip. Lord, help me. Oh. Wonderful dance of fruit and oak, blended to sheer perfection. That's phenomenal, and there's a reason why that always places first or second for me the past several years. The Russell's Reserve 13 is chef's kiss of bourbon. Now, is Jack Daniel's 12 year worse? Better? The same even? Oh my God. It's not worse on the nose. It's different. This is much more heavy on the sweet oak component. And that, like, just deep, dark, and rich caramelized banana. Let's take a sip. Oh my God. Honestly, they're neck and neck. They are neck and neck. If you love Russell's 13, different flavor profile, but Jack Daniel's 12 year is not worse. I have to do them blind to kind of, not be influenced with what I was having, but my gosh, they are neck and neck. For sure, if the JD 12 year was released last year, it would definitely have made that top 2 or 3 right there for sure. So, moral of this story is if you see a JD 12 at or near retail, it's an absolute buy. A++++ rating on Bourbon Bill. If you happen to only see a 10-year batch 2, don't cry too hard. It's very delicious, and I believe it is better than batch 1. And if you were a fan of batch 1, you're going to like batch 2. If you weren't such a fan as batch 1, batch 2 might be better to you as well. So, do not pass up the 10-year batch 2. It's a hitter, and it hasn't gotten quite enough press. So if you like what we saw tonight, please like, comment, and most importantly, hit that subscribe button, everyone. Thanks. Have a good evening.